here today for the purposes of meeting notes. I'm just going to do roll call, and then I'll turn it over to one of you to actually open the meeting, and you can decide which one of you actually wants to do that. So Will Allen?
Present.
Jeff Lewis?
Present.
Jim Wiseman?
Present.
Thank you. That is all three of our technical review committee members. If one of you would open it.
You're
Sure.
up, Jim.
Yeah, we're here to review the proposal for the Lake County Convention Center with the city of Gary. So yeah, we've got a submission that we're going to review together and score.
Just to recap our process so far, you remember that we met last year to issue a request for qualifications. That was an open process. When we received our responses to that qualification packet, we received one bid package from AECom Hunt, AECom design team, and also including Powers and Sons on that. The design build state statute requires that whenever we receive one proposal, we need city council approval to issue them a request for proposals. Last month, the city council approved that process to issue one proposal. We sent them a proposal packet along with a draft AIA contract for a progressive design build contract. And now we are here. We are in receipt of their qualitative package, which was due by 4 p.m. today. And tomorrow, the Board of Works will be opening their sealed price proposal. We will score the document today, and then we need to turn in that score to Board of Works. And what they will do is divide the score by the price in order to get the final, best and final price. I understand this is only one, but the process is still the same. So that is why we are here today. So with that, I'll take a couple moments and just go through their proposal. We've got it up here on the screen. In the request for proposals, we asked for them to hit certain criteria. They had to submit an AIA contract. They needed to submit a concept design, an operations, maintenance, and long-term durability statement, community and minority firm participation commitment, and we asked for them to follow the instructions. So we'll score against that specific criteria. So with that, let's get into their executive summary. The team that has submitted is AECom Hunt with a joint venture to Powers and Sons, Barbara Holder Consulting, which is a certified MBE, WBE company, and AECom. AECom just serves as the designer. Even though AECom Hunt is the contractor, they share a name. They're actually two separate companies.
So AECom Hunt is an entity all by itself.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know that. Okay.
They, as you know, in their request for qualifications, that's how they got this far. I'm going to turn this off so you can maybe see a little bit bigger. How's that for you, Will?
Perfect.
A little bit better.
They have built 42 convention centers across the nation and 35 million square feet of convention center square foot and a total portfolio of $11 billion of convention centers. So we saw this sheet when we did qualifications, so we know that they are there. Then they submitted their AIA document. I am also in receipt of that AIA document. We have a couple weeks to negotiate this, but we certainly appreciate that they have submitted their initial comments on the AIA document. They have also submitted, I'm just gonna, we'll highlight like one thing here. So like, they've provided red lines, which in like 1.1.11 the owner's requirements for subcontractor procurement. We presented some documents, then they're adding some additional language underneath that. I have, will be sharing this with the legal team, and we'll continue contract negotiations on that. They have submitted their certificate of insurance and surety letter. I have brought that along with me. If I'll just pass it around so that you can see that. So these criteria, what we've gone through so far, are all underneath the response criteria and format of the AIA document, where it is the actual contract, the certificates of insurance, the letter of surety. So that is this first section underneath your score sheet. They have a total points available of 30 for this section. I've broken down a layout of how you could score it. 30 would be excels in this area, 20 points would be meets criteria, 10 below standard, and 0 fails. Of course, you could, assign them 12 if you want, but just to give you that Likert scale there for reference.
Do we have like the ability to maybe alter it? Like you get points if you submitted one, and if you didn't, you get 0? Is that something that we could?
Yeah, I mean, you could do,
Try to keep it
absolutely.
simple.
This is totally up to you. Like if they submitted it and they've got everything, 30 points.
Right.
If they didn't, 0 points. Totally up to you.
Yeah.
Is that
Seems to make sense for this one, because it's
Yeah, you
it's
either have
either,
it or you don't.
either have it or you don't, so, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The next criteria is conceptual design. This is a little bit unique because in your packet, you'll see that in the proposal, we included design criteria. And thank you to Shive Hattery for helping us pull this together, because it was a unique situation. AECom was a part of they were on the team when we submitted to the Lake County Commissioners, and a part of our commissioner package was a design. But state statute will not allow you to have the submitter be the design criteria developer. However, our design criteria developer can be a member of our technical review committee. So Jeff Lewis at Shive Hatterly totally stepped up for us, and we really appreciate
Happy
you
to.
doing that. In the design criteria that we submitted, they had criteria for exhibit hall, square footage, ballroom square footage, breakout meeting rooms, the auxiliary spaces. We even got into details around design criteria around elevators, fire safety, technology infrastructure, life safety, circulation and site, and then just general notes around our finish quality. And of course, always making sure that we attempt to reach sustainable goals. So, as a part of this package, then, they had to submit a concept design. This probably looks very familiar because they actually had already produced a concept design, but it really is affirmation of what we are trying to seek and a continuation of what the Lake County Commissioners asked for us to produce. So we are continually, we will continue to push our design team to meet those standards and the commitments that we made, and work them up against the budget that we have. So they have submitted a concept site plan, a programming space. An exhibit hall is shown here for 40,000 square feet, and on our design criteria, it says approximately 40,000 sellable square feet. Ballroom, 18,000 square feet, and on our design criteria, we have approximately 17,000 square feet of sellable space. So those were the two only areas where we had specific square footages, and they've noted here on the program how they can achieve that. And then they've also highlighted some site features, which starts to anticipate circulation. They've provided a floor plan for the first floor and the second floor, as well as the roof, which if the budget were to allow, potentially this could be, they're suggesting maybe an outdoor rooftop deck, or a bar, a prep kitchen, some restrooms up here. They've made mention of that and where it could be located on the roof. I will note that these roof amenities, when we submitted to the Lake County Commissioners, these were options in the budget because we realize that this is going to be a very tight budget. But again, creativity and having a dialogue around these things is important. Conceptual elevations, they've provided an aerial overview and a nice perspective of how the building could look. Again, this mimics what was submitted to the county and the same elevation images that were a part of the county package. And then they've also went a step beyond and provided some renderings of what those spaces could look like, especially from the stair entry and maybe what the building could look like in the evening. They've done a daylight study that they have submitted in the project, and then they've submitted a project narrative. This narrative discusses architectural vision, site integration, functional flexibility, sustainable commitment, and community focus, all of which speaks to what we asked for them to submit in the package. They have spoken a little, sorry about that. They have spoken a little bit about the building envelope, specifically the front facade and the back of house. How are they going to manage food services, the roof system, and how structurally we can manage this facility. I'm happy to, if I'm touching highlights, so if you have
fine.
any details on any questions here. They've also in their project description indicated material codes, which comes down to structural steel load performances and things like that. They've highlighted the building code risk category. This is a risk category 3. This is due to the large number of occupants. So that's why it would be in that category. They've started to talk about foundation system. Obviously, geotechnical borings, we will need to do that. And so that what they're talking here is that we'll be working with a consultant to do the geotechnical borings to make sure that we have a foundation system that supports such a large facility. Floor systems, roof systems. And then they get into MEP. It's talking about air handling, how they're going to zone the different areas and the air distribution, and then building automation and controls, all of which are going to be pretty important for efficient operations for this facility. They've discussed a heating and cooling plant for their heating and cooling systems. So air-cooled chillers and gas-fired boilers are the two types of systems they're proposing here. They're going to have a dedicated outdoor air system. They're going to have specific exhaust systems in their restroom and kitchen facilities, janitor closets. Power distribution, they are anticipating a medium voltage utility feed for this project. I have already started conversations separately with NIPSCO in anticipation for this build. So sometimes we have lead time. So once This project is awarded. NIPSCO will be put into contact with their MEP time. We can talk about schedule. I know that's one of the requirements here in this package, so talk about schedule. So then they talk about lighting and power distribution, emergency egress lighting, all of which are required by code. Telecommunications, plumbing, sanitary, sewer systems, natural gas. I think the to shorten it up, they've included MEPT, which is mechanical, electrical, plumbing, technology, and how they're going to handle those systems.
Perfect.
So that is all underneath your conceptual design and how they're going to approach those systems. And like I mentioned, I'm happy to speak to any of those things. On the sustainability, they mentioned that they anticipate designing to the LEED Silver criteria, which features energy recovery systems, demand-controlled ventilation, submetering for major energy uses, and water-conserving fixtures. And then they have also noted that they will seek out opportunities for solar and EV charging to set up for future EV charging systems.
Cool.
Any questions on that section?
Nope.
Pretty detailed.
Okay.
Yep.
Then we've got operations, maintenance, and long-term durability. They've made statements around recognizing that there are public floors and then there are back of house durability. They are different types of materials. One is going to be carpet, one is going to be hard surface. Then they've talked about wall protection. Think about the metal kicks on the bottom of a door. They've mentioned things like this. Considerations to conserve energy during operations, and highlighting an entire page towards sustainability and minimizing energy consumption. Looks like they've already started doing some early modeling. And that would be your criteria around operations, maintenance, and long-term durability. They do have a concept schedule. Looks like we are looking at a notice to proceed on May 15th, which does fall in line with what we are anticipating. Notice to proceed means that we've negotiated that AIA contract. June 14th, they have, in design build, we can start construction and design at the same time. So they plan on starting some of that early due diligence items like geotechnical, probably site clearing.
I'm saying within a month, they're talking about something
Construction starting, and that's probably gets down to site clearing, so that they can start moving. Then they are anticipating a June 29 of substantial completion. So in my conversations with them and shown on this schedule, they'll be working on design for 12 months, and then they have a solid 2 years of building construction after the design is done, but they'll start this early clearing and things like that. So a 3-year project. And then they've broken it out by discipline.
That's great.
Yep. This project is in partnership with the state of Indiana and the redevelopment authority. Redevelopment Authority, the RDA, locally here in Northwest Indiana, is serving as our partner in this project, and they will be managing fiscally how that would paying all the bills. So bills will go directly to the RDA for this project. And as a part of our conversations with the RDA, we had asked for a payout schedule of what that would be. So they've provided a schedule of how they think invoices could work. And then their work plan to include community and minority firms. So I believe this is the exact same section that we saw under qualifications, because I recognize the images and the format. It's just a reinstatement of who we see. Now, their subcontractors we asked for, their subcontractors listed are DLZ, an MBE, Cine Little, and a WBE. They would food service programming.
Yeah.
GGLD, which is a WBE, their lighting design. GPS Consulting Engineers, and MBE, that's structural engineering services. AES, Advanced Engineering Services, will provide geotechnical. They're an MBE. Robinson Engineering will provide surveying and permitting for the project. And Design 27 Technology Acoustics, which is also a WBE, will provide technology and acoustic engineering. Very important for a convention center. And then, of course, this is a project with AECOM Hunt, Powers and Sons, Barbara Holder Consulting, and AECOM. So that is a very quick overview. I'm happy to give you additional details, but I know we were... So if you are okay, I would just like for you to read out your score. That way we can put those on record as a part of the meeting minutes. You can do it collectively or individually, however you want to do that.
I'll share mine. I didn't see any reason to reduce any of the points available based on what they submitted. So I gave them a perfect score of 100. So 30, 20, 20, 20, 10.
Okay.
I would say the same thing, Corey. After reviewing what we've seen today and what we've seen previously, they've met the requirements. They've done everything that was requested. There were some other, as you know, in the past, some concerns like aesthetically with the landscaping things. They've addressed that. So my score is perfect as well. 30, 20, 20, 20, 10.
My total score is 90. The only area where I deducted points was in the community minority firm participation commitment. And the reason for that is I didn't see any like internal like city commitments in order to get businesses that are based in the city of Gary directly involved with the project.
Good, thank you. I will make sure to address that as we go through contract negotiations. Well, with that, that concludes our business today. So if you all had further discussion, or if you want to adjourn, then you're happy to adjourn.
Wonderful.
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is exciting.
The obstacles we've overcome and the vision for our future. 2026 State of the City Address. Join us at Embassies of Christ, 4285 Cleveland Street at 2 p.m. Reserve your seat on Eventbrite or watch live on Facebook and YouTube.
Belly friends. Yeah. Every streets alive. We bring the vibe. Food truck Fridays, pull up with crew you tribe. Music bumping, games pop. We be feeling right. 5 to 8, 6 and bro. Every Friday night, come early. Have a spot, taste the flavor, good eats. In the moment, just a link. Friends, good vibes downtown. We ignite. Food, fun and vibe. Food truck Friday, one for every day.
Need a midweek reset? Wind Down Wednesday is your time to relax, recharge, and enjoy the vibe. Experience live music, great food, and a smooth atmosphere right here in the city of Gary. Turn your Wednesday into a moment worth enjoying.
Gary, summer just got epic. The Greater Gary Music Fest. One night of music, vibes, unforgettable energy. We're bringing an amazing lineup you don't want to miss. Saturday, June 27th. Stay tuned, mark your calendar, and experience the hottest concert of the summer right here in Gary. Gary, this is your moment. The 2300 Jackson Street Block Party is here. Saturday, August 29th through Sunday, August 30th, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're taking over Roosevelt High School, 730 West 25th Avenue, Gary, Indiana. Food trucks, live music, games, community, 2 full days of energy, culture, and family fun. The 2300 Jackson Street Block Party, only in Gary.